Hey there and welcome. My name is Alonda Carter and this is Hey Hun, You Woke Up. I don't know what episode it is and it doesn't really matter. Today my guest is Meredith. Meredith won $10,000 from Beachbody and she became a Beachbody coach back in the early days, not once, but twice, but thrice. And today she's going to speak with us and tell us all about what it was like way back when and what she thinks of Beachbody now. So let's go ahead and welcome Meredith. And remember, let's not spread any hate to anyone that's involved in multi-level marketing, Beachbody, or anything like that. Now, let's get to it. Today, I have a special guest with me, someone who was there at the beginning with Beachbody. And if you don't know this, I'm a former Beachbody coach, hence I'm a recovering Hunbot. So let's welcome Meredith. And I have a question for her because I don't know the answer to this. And I think it will be really, really interesting to hear from someone who really was right there when it all started. Meredith, tell us, how did you get involved in all these shenanigans?
Okay, so I'm going to go back to 2006 because in 2006, I was over 300 pounds and I ended up in the hospital with diabetes. I didn't even know I was diabetic at the time. Back then, we didn't have tablets and smartphones and everything. And I just was watching 4 stations on TV and I found Turbo Jam. And I just had to get it when I got home. I loved it. I loved Shalene's attitude and how she taught and her positivity. So I bought it. I left the hospital with the name Turbo Jam and also with my scripts of insulin. And I went home and I bought it right away, thinking it would probably end up on the shelf, collecting dust, but I loved it. So I went on the Yahoo group. Remember Yahoo groups, right?
Oh, yeah.
I went on the Yahoo group of Turbo Jam, or really it was Beachbody. And I found all of these amazing people, supportive and loving. And then Shalene had a Camp Turbo Kick. It was the first one she had. That was in 2006. It was about 6 weeks or maybe 2 months after I got out of the hospital, but I just had to be there and in Orange County for the camp. The camp was amazing. Lots of fun. Met lifelong friends there, and everybody just was so supportive. Like even Shalene, it was such a smaller thing back then, and I had her phone number and she was so supportive. I would text her and she would text me back. So it was awesome and it really changed my life. However, I went to a few of her camps. I even won in 2007, Carl had a contest with Beachbody. This is way before the MLM, and it was called $1 Million Body Contest. And I was the $10,000 winner in November of 2007. And they came out and they did my makeup, my hair, and everything. It was really awesome. I got my check, and I was so like, this is the best company. I love it. So that was good stuff. And I was doing really, really well. And the diabetes went into remission. I have it again, but it went into remission. And I'm right now, from my lowest weight, I'm about 20 pounds up, or, I'm also older than I was in 2007. Okay, so flash forward a little bit also Carl had, let me back up a little. Carl had an event when he was first starting the MLM. He had an event in Philadelphia. He invited me to talk about my story because they really love my story because I use their products. And this is before Shakeology even, but I used their products and I was kind of like a walking billboard for it, as I was told. So then it became an MLM. And I was like, yeah, gung ho for it. I was so excited because people kept asking me, well, how did you lose the weight and can you help me? And I was like, this is perfect.
I have a question.
Sure.
I don't know if you saw this video that I did, and it's from like when I first started, creating these videos.
Hmm.
The Sheffield Group. Beachbody is a client of the Sheffield Group, and basically the Sheffield Group is like the dark school of arts of how to
Hmm.
create your own MLM.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I went over like what they have, forward facing of the public and stuff. And I've always been curious, like, at what point did they become part of that? Because with that, they have this module of like how you recruit leaders. And you know
Hmm.
how sometimes people leave from one MLM to another and
Yes.
yeah. So there's like, they have some kind of shenanigans going on with all of that. So I didn't know if they mentioned anything about it was just all of a sudden, what we've created this opportunity for you.
Yes, yes, that's what it was like. And well, let me go back a little bit. After I won the $10,000, my dad had passed away, and he was in my video. He passed away suddenly from heart trouble, um, about a month and a half later. And the Beachbody, they sent me a card. Like, it was so personal, and they really seemed, and I believe they did care at that time. So. So just to give you a background, I do feel a little guilty about even coming on here because I won the $10,000. Although to Carl, it's probably not that much, especially because of everything that has blown up lately. Um, but so then the MLM started, and then it was all about Shakeology, and I don't like shakes. No shakes. People tried to make me shakes that they thought I would love, and I was like, yuck. Because I don't really care. I just drink water. I don't even drink alcohol or sodas or anything. So I just could not get it down. So then, because of my story, people that I knew from the Turbo Pig camp, which was then called the Camp Do More, people signed up under me. I had no idea what I was doing because there was no training, um, nothing. And so I didn't do anything. But then I became Emerald, which was the highest rank. I didn't even get Ruby or Diamond at all because I did not feel comfortable with the whole thing.
Well, what were you told to do? Because now it's the 4 vital behaviors. What were you told to do? It's like, okay, become a coach and
Nothing at that time. There was absolutely nothing at all back then. It was just, talk to your friends, talk to your family. And I don't have a big family. Like I didn't have anyone that I could say, okay, you be the right side and you be the left side and, buy stuff for me and, or recruit people and keep buying. And I didn't have that like other
you
people
didn't
have.
have that large network.
No, no. And, I don't have a large family, and the family I do have wouldn't be interested, but I was reaching out to friends of mine, and my friends were like, oh, what are you doing? I want to do it with you and blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, when I sent out an email about coaching to like probably about 50 or 70 people, nobody responded. Not one person
Yeah, I wonder
of my
why.
friends. Yes, one person told me that my grammar was off.
Oh, well, gee, thanks. Thanks.
I'm like, okay, that's
But
not helpful.
you didn't know. You thought, hey, you have an opportunity to offer.
Exactly.
And
And
you had a good experience, so you believed in it.
I totally believed in it. And if it was still like that, I would still believe in it. But what happened was, so then coaching came up, and then people were adding me on their Facebook. And I didn't even know who they were. I'm just like, oh, it's a Beachbody person, kumbaya, whatever. And so what happened was they were messaging my friends to be coaches on Facebook. Like
So
my best friends
they're
were like,
poaching your friends.
no. So I was, I would tell them, to go pound sand, and I would delete them. But it got that way because people became not my friends who were doing it, but people became really greedy. So they were messaging everybody. But coming on my page, I mean, like, that's not even ethical to me. I would never do that to somebody.
Were there challenge groups at that time, or was it still with the little billboard, like the message
No,
board?
no, and I actually yeah, I knew people that were doing well. I remember I don't know if I should mention names, but there was somebody who said, how easy it was, but they were a sister of one of the trainers. So of course it's going to be easy for that
Does
person.
that person's name start with a J?
Yeah, and I like
Okay.
her. But that's the
Yeah.
good thing. I don't have anything against. I mean, they were all in the beginning so supportive of me. But yeah, she said that, oh, it's so easy. Everybody was signing up. I mean, she's like a multimillionaire now.
Well,
Because
yeah. Well, hello, your sister,
yeah, which,
duh.
God bless her. I'm happy I wish the best to them. And I still like them. I think they're good. Well, those two people I'm talking about, I think they're good people for the most part, but it just changed a lot. And um,
Now,
even
how old was Jay back then?
how old was she?
Yeah. Just curious.
In her 30s, I think, like late
Okay.
30s or maybe mid 30s,
Okay.
because um, my Turbo Jam trainer, she actually is only about 2 months younger than me. I can't afford all the work though. I wish I
All
could.
right.
And I'm going to be 52 in December. So, I mean, December, in a week, actually, a week from today. Um, I still love that workout. I
It's a
still
good
love it.
workout. It's fun.
It's my favorite workout of all time. So I do that still. And then I do other stuff because even though it's only $99 with the streaming, the workouts have become too difficult for me. I could still do the turbo stuff, but when it comes to all the other stuff that they're bringing on these days, just either I don't care for the music, or they want you to do all this stuff that I can't do anymore. And I feel like and I could be wrong, you could tell me, I feel like most of the people that have made a lot of money with coaching are people that are, that they look like movie stars.
Oh, you're not wrong. Oh, you're not wrong. And from the research that I've done when I've gone back into their backgrounds, which is very hard to find, like the pieces, but I find a little bit here and there. And then it's like, oh, well, no wonder this person was able to rise, because you're coming in with a certain skill set. Those skill sets can be different from person to person, but there's something there that the average bear doesn't have. And I'm like, interesting. And that holds true when I started doing my Notorious series, which is about the people who were at the top of OneCoin. They all entered multi-level marketing in their 20s. And so when you come into something so young and impressionable, it's easy to transform someone. And so no wonder they just get, their mind changes, and that becomes, part of their DNA. And then they can continue the narrative.
Right.
So I think they really target those kind of people to get them successful, because they'll know they'll continue the scheme.
Yeah, and they kept telling me, share your story, and people knew my story, and but I didn't have any tools. I mean, a year later, I was over 300 pounds, and I was probably about around 40 or so, maybe 41, 42 when the coaching started. And because always in the back of my head, I thought that, you know what, I want to help people, but I don't want people to have to pay for Shakeology unless they really like it and have the money, because the whole thing, well, you already spend $4 and so for breakfast. Like, no, I don't.
Right? The whole comparison of stuff, it's like, oh, just gag me. And I did that crap too. And it's like, I just want to run and hide in a corner. But I believed what I was being told.
Yes. And you were probably told a lot. And when I watch different, not just your videos, but other videos, because I cheat on you sometimes. When I watch other videos and just hear the calls, or somebody has a tape of one of the calls where these coaches, or these 10-star diamond coaches, and how they're talking to people, it just, I wouldn't tolerate that for a second. I would have hung. I see these people on the phone on these Zoom calls that are taped somehow, and I think, why would anybody allow themselves to be talked to like they're garbage?
Well, it goes back to the indoctrination and thought reform, and you believe in the dream so much. And if you just work hard, you're really just not working hard enough. I better go read some personal development. I mean, it's so sick and twisted and manipulative. Oh, and I don't have it here. I was going to hold up the book. I just got Robert Fitzpatrick's book, Ponzinomics. I was reading it last night. I hardly got any sleep last night, not because I was reading the book, but my husband got home after the restaurant, and then we were like talking, and I read the book, and I looked at the clock. I'm like holy crap, it's 6 a.m.
Oh my goodness, and you're up now. Amazing. I would love to.
I even put on makeup.
You even have makeup on, and you look wonderful. And so when I hear about, okay, so then I stopped coaching, and then I started coaching again a couple of years later, and then I started coaching again a couple of years after that, and I was like,
did you sign up underneath different people, or had you maintained? You did, okay.
Different people. And and the people were good people. It's nothing against them, but I am not. I'm a social worker by trade. I've been doing it for a long time, and that's not that you have. I didn't even have to sell myself because I was a product of the product at the time, years ago when I first started. But when I couldn't bring myself to talk about Shakeology in the way they wanted me to talk about it, or the company would want you to talk about it, because I didn't drink it. So, and then when I was Emerald, I had a whole bunch of people that were sent to me that I was their coach. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is awesome. These are people that already, want or involved in Beachbody. So that kind of gets you an in. Not one person, once again, got excuse me, not one person got back to me. And I had a good list of a lot of people. And I don't know if it was a good, obviously it was a bad list, but I wrote, it wasn't like I wrote to them like, hey, and especially because I'm a social worker, so I like helping people. Right. I didn't mention that, but I'm a helper. I want people to succeed, and I'm here for you, and blah, blah, blah. And I know that weight loss has a lot more to do in your head than just somebody putting a meal plan out for you in a workout. Because most people, especially people that have pretty bad weight problems or weight concerns, are going to have it harder than people that are trying to get off 10 pounds from their pregnancy, or 20 pounds or 30 pounds.
Or you have medical things going on. I mean, there's a whole host of things. And as you get older, and now your hormones change, and there's all kinds of stuff. And Beachbody really doesn't have, other than like the Tai Chang Chi, whatever that thing is. And I mean, back to the program, something that I noticed, my hair keeps sticking out of my snood. It's supposed to say back there. Anyway, what I noticed is that, okay, before Beachbody On Demand, because I came on board in 2016 and Beachbody On Demand was not out quite yet. Yeah. And so you were getting the CDs and everything. No equipment required.
Right. Now everything needs equipment.
Well, not only that, is that the coaches get, early access, VIP access before it's released, and they have to pay for it. And we were told everything's included. You get everything. And so if you're telling me I get everything, even all the new programs, why would I be paying for them for this early access?
Well,
to me, it just shows the coach is the customer. That's who they're marketing to.
Totally. That's in any MLM, and this one. And when there were CDs out, or not DVDs out, you would make 25% if somebody bought them from you.
Yeah.
And now you don't get that. And then they were starting to sell them on Amazon and sell them in different stores. And so how do you compete against that? I had somebody who wanted to do P90X, and I was like, cool, get in my thing. And she's like, no, I found it cheaper on Amazon. Like, okay. And how do you run a business like that?
What happened to me, I don't, the containers, right?
Yes.
Color containers. Okay. My college best friend, and I love her to pieces, but I was so upset and so mad because, I'm all into how I'm going to build a business and everything. And she, good Lord, keeps sticking out. And so I talked to her about the containers. I think it was on Facebook, or I showed her or whatever. And she went somewhere like Marshall's or Ross, and she found some containers and she took a picture of them and sent it to me. I was livid. It was like, how could you do that to me? And then she bought stuff from somebody that it was like, the pink drink stuff. And I'm like, but you look, I have workout programs. And it's like, it just goes to show you it's so hard to do it.
Yes. And it's interesting because I was compared to people that join now, or even if I join now again, which I'm not doing, but I had an up that a lot of these people knew me, that I was a walking billboard, that I am a caring person and I'm not just greedy about things. But people might watch this and say, oh, she's just bitter. I'm not at all. I'm not bad mouthing anybody, but I'm saying that exactly what happened and how, people go, oh, she didn't work hard enough. She didn't do that. There was no instructions back then. Nothing.
Well, even with instructions, it doesn't matter.
I know. But because it's all basically the customer is your downline. And I will, I want nothing to do with how do you have your own business if you have an upline? It's not like you're a franchisee where you can make your own decisions. And I know that's been talked about before. And like I said, I feel bad because there's still some people I know that are doing this, but and the one has been in it since the very beginning. And and I like her. She's my friend. And nobody really bothers me anymore with it. Not bothers me, but like, hey, why don't you do this and do that? And I feel that it's just not something where people make money on a regular basis. I mean, there's tons of coaches, but there's only so many diamond or star diamond or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's tricky.
Well, even if you were to get to diamond, I mean, I've described it as a Jenga tower. Somebody was like, you have to keep on rebuilding.
You do. Unless you're one of the people that is related, just one of the people that are one of the trainers. And I have to, I did pay the $99. And I just don't care for any of the newer workouts. I'm going, back in the day and I'm not feeling it. And having all these equipment or things that you have to have.
Yeah. I remember when Shift Shop came out and you had to have some little markers. I got different color sticky notes. And I'm like, I'm not buying markers.
I don't even know how much were they. I don't even know.
Oh, I don't remember, but I was like, why would I do that? I'm like, Post-its,
Yeah, well, I tried that work. I mean, there's been different workouts that I've tried and I've tried to like them. And then just like, it's not really, I don't like the music or it's too much. But I want to ask you, is there anybody with multiple star diamond that actually is overweight or not in their 20s or 30s?
Oh,
that's what I'm wondering, because every time I see one of the videos with, the big coach that thinks they're hot, what?
Yeah.
I don't want to curse on here. You see that they all are over in great shape.
Right.
Not a wrinkle on them.
Right.
But they'll tell you, oh, you could be 600 pounds and do this.
Yeah. Anybody can do it. It's easy.
Yeah,
you just have to help 2 people each month. That's all.
Yeah.
Just help 2.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't have, and you know what? I don't think I would have told anyone in my life, like, you have to buy this for me to make money. You're buying stuff, and then you start buying stuff for the people. I've seen that too. You're buying stuff for people under you. And so it was sad for me and kind of a loss in a way that when I felt disconnected from Beachbody, because I felt like at one time it was so instrumental in my life and my health and everything. But what do you do if people are catty, and I don't want to deal with that.
Right. Well, I think that being in the multi-level marketing space increased corruption because, and I'm doing a video about where Carl came from, and he learned a lot of things from where he came from, and that it will explain a lot when you see it.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, it's like, I really think there was a plan in place all along, and it was a matter of just getting people in the right, spots before. Now we're a multi-level marketing company. It's like, I don't think it was by happenstance. I want to think it is, but in my gut, I know better because of how these things work. It's like,
Right.
no, there was a plan, a masterful plan. And so it's sad because, again, I mean, I love Shaun T, and I hope, he seems like he's distanced himself, and I just think he's adorable. I want to cuddle him so bad. I just want oh, he's so adorable.
He is. And I met him in person back in New York City I think it was about 2009, right before his Insanity came out, and he had a masterclass with Insanity, and a whole bunch of people were there. And he just was a real doll. And then I don't even know what happened to Tony Horton. I have no idea.
Yeah, he left. He left, and he was their first super trainer.
I know. And also, oh my gosh, what is that called? They were part of Beachbody, and they have Les Mills. Is that how you say it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I love that too, because I need good music. I don't like that silly workout, music on most of the, streaming stuff. So
yeah,
they branched out on their own, and they do very well because they're in gyms everywhere.
Well, what's so funny is that I got certified in size and in country heat because I had the idea. I was like, well, I can go somewhere and teach some people, because I had been a member of Bally's Total Fitness. Then I moved to California and came back, and Bally's was gone. And this very good friend of mine, well, I met him because he was teaching there, taught step. He never broke anything down. It was so complex and so hard, and it was really dancey, high kicks, leaps, and I loved it because it was so challenging. And I took spin from him and Pilates. It was great, but it shut down. And I mean, I could not find anything like that. And he lives not too far from me. He's a hairdresser too. He's a sweetie pie. He doesn't teach it anymore. And there's nothing like that. And so I understand when you say about the music, and that's why I liked, Shaun T's stuff. And that's why I thought, well, Lewis built, a following because we all hung out together, and we went to his house. I went there every Thanksgiving and everything. It's like, I can create that following. But the thing is, Beachbody didn't build relationships with big box gyms. And so they didn't give a flying rat's butt. It's like,
it's true. And I know 24 Hour Fitness at one point had a gym, and I was certified in I believe in 2007 with Turbo Kick, which is the gym version of Turbo Jam and Turbo Fire. And I was not really, I wasn't teaching many gyms, but there was this lady gym, and they were, they had a contract, I guess, with Shalene or something. And their people didn't want to teach it. They didn't have the passion for it. And then they were making up their own moves, and I knew the round, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And one woman almost round kicked me in the head. And I said, when you came back, can you watch? And then all of a sudden the manager's up in my face, like I was some spy. Shalene. I'm like, no, I'm just saying, please don't kick me in the head.
Yeah.
So I liked size too, and I like Insanity. I never, other than that one time in New York City, I never did that. But I feel because of how things have changed, it really makes me sad. Because I still am friends with so many people. They're not even really, most of them aren't even coaches. Just a couple I know that are coaches, but people that I met that are lifelong friends. But now it's saturated too. I mean,
Oh,
right?
very much so. And
Mm-hmm.
when I watch any of the training and especially the coaches who've been around a minute, not just newer ones, but even some of the newer ones. I mean, I see what they're saying and that, they're doing the narrative, all that stuff. But I'm looking at them and I'm like, I know they're bald face lying, they're trying to make it because they've got to keep the people at the bottom pumped up,
Yeah.
believing
Yeah.
that they can do this so they'll keep feeding the machine.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, how do you keep doing that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you,
Right.
when do you go like, you know what, this is changing me, and I don't care if I go live in, a tree, it's like I just fundamentally cannot do this anymore.
Yes. Yes. And I lost my job about a month ago, about almost 2 months now. And a couple people have said, well, why don't you coach again? Like,
Oh gosh.
no, I'm not just going to do that. If I felt like it was a job where I was making money from selling workouts and I can make a living doing that, then that's one thing. But that's not the case. I mean, selling to lay people, not just the coaches below you.
Yeah. If
But
there was if there was a need, because for any multi-level marketing product, I've never seen like people standing at the street going, "Oh, have you heard about, Melaleuca?" And it's like, "Oh, it's the best." Do you hear those conversations about any of these products?
hmm right, exactly. And what happened to me back in the early 2000s, I kind of got swooped into Mary Kay for a really short period of time.
Oh,
And I ended up, oh my gosh, I bought all this product, about $600 worth of product,
oh, crap.
that I was like, well, I can return it. So what would happen with that is that um, I just trying to think about this.
I have something to share with you saying that, because
Okay, okay.
I have a
So,
comment held.
okay.
You tell your story and I'm going to read this comment to you.
Okay. So what happened was, I bought the product, and then I did try to have the parties, which, I hate the fact that they use the word party because it's really not a party. So if I'm going to party, it better be a real party. Anyway, so I would have parties, and my friends would be like, okay, because then you got to bother your friends. And I felt bad about that because I don't want to be that person. You know what I mean? So, um, my what's director, whatever, um, her husband, now I had just gotten in to the University of Pennsylvania, and my agency was paying full tuition for it at the time. And I hadn't started classes yet. It was right before I started classes. And the director's husband actually said to me, oh, you need to drop out of grad school
What?
because this is all you need. I shit you not. Yes, I kid you not. And of course I didn't listen to him. I'm like, yeah, he's a whack, it's wacky. But yeah, that's what they tell people. And there could be people that actually listen.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't need to go to school, or this is my career path.
Right. I have a scholarship to, it wasn't really a scholarship, it was just tuition reimbursement, which is just as good, but kind of like a scholarship to an Ivy League school for a master's degree. And this dude was saying, oh, you don't need that. I think I might have laughed at him, but it ended with Mary Kay that I didn't sell hardly anything. And what would happen when I had a party is that they would have somebody would need one eyeliner color that I didn't have, but you can't just order it.
Oh, good
You have to make
gravy.
this big order to get the 50% off. And I had all this junk, and then all of a sudden, oh crap, I don't have this color or this,
Because you would be selling what you had, right?
well, you would try to, but then people saw you have to give them whatever, the booklet.
Yeah. They'd order
And
from the booklet, but meanwhile, you had product you were trying to schlep.
yes, because they said, oh, if you buy $600 worth, you get another couple $100 of this, and and then you can return it. But then, how do you return it? Because I kept kind of for like less than a year. I would make a few big orders. Then I had a whole bunch of crap. I ended up throwing it out. I mean, I probably should have gone to like some kind of county fair.
Let me read you this comment then. This is an old video. It is what happened when I joined Mary Kay. And there was a time when I was having people fill out like a form for me, and I would then write a story and I'd tell their story. And so this person commented on that old video and says, Mary Kay literally has a 1-year buy back, all caps,
That's what I was told.
policy where you can return all unopened items back to the company and get 90% of your money back and write off the other 10% on your taxes. So if anyone loses money with Mary Kay, it's because they're an idiot. It's just that simple.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh, man,
Yes.
you are in deep, girlfriend. It's like,
What's that? And some of the stuff that is said on all of these companies, it seems, is so nasty and rude. Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault. It reminds me of years ago, or going to some kind of a diet program and you lose all this weight and they're like, yeah, great job, blah, blah, blah. If you put it on, which most people end up doing anyway, then that's all on you. And that's what this sounds like. Oh, you failed because you're a failure. It's not,
you suck.
It's not the system.
Exactly. Couldn't be that, squirrel.
Yeah.
Let's distract them and keep them really busy with stuff so they don't notice what's actually happening. Yeah, sure, sounds good. Okay, let's go. That's what I see. It's like everybody's running around trying and then using the words that they're taught to make it look as if there's this lifestyle that is just, excuse me, all an illusion, smoke and mirrors.
Yes. And I just, even with or without the Shakeology, I don't want to offer people, and that's why I just kind of even the few people I had under me, they kind of went their own way and either left or rejoined with somebody else because my comfort level was not there. Even though a lot of the products I liked and believed in. And that's the thing. I really believed in this company and, how all these people kind of turned. And there was a friend of mine was a coach under a different person. And this person she was a coach under who also, she made a lot of money too. I mean, she was like way up there and whatnot. Told her, well, you can't share any of the information I tell you to anyone on a different team. Hey, come on, really?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I don't need it. I'm good. So,
wow.
Yeah.
And well, it really is a very catty industry. It really is. It's very ruthless.
Exactly. And when my friends were being hit up, like I said, on Facebook, that's when I realized that this is not cool. This is something that I do not want to be part of. And because I'm not ruthless, like I have a caring heart. Now, I'm sure many coaches do, but I have a caring heart. I want to help people, but I'm not going to do it on the backs of other people.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to hit up other people's friends. Yeah. And that happened with, there wasn't just the one girl. It was a few people that came on and I added a bunch, all these people I was adding because, I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, they were coming to me. I wasn't adding them. Like I wasn't cold call adding them. Cold call adding them. They would come to me. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like I said before, it's a shame. But I see, I have a friend who's been in Mary Kay for years and she keeps blaming herself because she's not a good recruiter. And I'm like, yeah. And it's not her.
No.
And yeah, I mean, and so she's, she wants to, go up in the thing, but to be honest, she's been doing it and she's gotten a couple awards, pieces of jewelry or whatever.
But they often pay for that because they're paying for their volume. It's a trap. It's like once you get it, it's like, I gotcha.
Yeah. Let me give you money, or let me give you some, or keep giving us money so we can give you a bracelet or earrings or whatever once in a while. And then I was told, well, some people, this one can make a lot of money, that one has made. That's who they show when they have their big events.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not going to show like some, schlep like me. She's still a coach after all these years.
No, no, they sell the lifestyle and the dream by the people who have it. And,
Yes.
I remember when I went to Summit and my husband went there too. Um, he didn't go to the Summit thing. He was in New Orleans with us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
he was at a restaurant and he saw a coach come in and he told this person how his wife was a coach, blah, 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 and talked to the lady. And she was telling him, yeah, just tell her to keep, she's doing right. Just keep, it takes about 5 years. And so now thinking about that, it's like, you know what? It takes that long maybe for you to become that other person who is able to do all of those things without
Mm-hmm.
it bothering you, without having a heart, without caring.
Mm-hmm.
Just, leave your care at the door and
Yes.
just get people to say yes. Don't take no for an answer. Follow up until that person's dead,
That's not me. Yeah. And I've been a social worker since like worked where I was getting paid since January of 92. So that's almost 29 years now. And that's not me. I'm not pushy. Um and it's the stuff sells itself. Well, okay, but if there's this drink that I can't even say that I like, and and I'm not blaming the drink itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying I don't like it because if it's I'm not that's not what I do. I don't spend $4 in the morning for breakfast. I'm not at Starbucks. I drink water and grab like a kashi bar or something, where I get a whole box for like, $3. And I feel bad. People are very desperate right now too because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I believe back when it started, there were some coaches saying that they're essential and
No, baby
complaining.
doll, you're not essential.
No, no, no. And because people want to work out and everybody's home now. And that's all nice and good, but you're not going to make the money selling workouts
Yeah.
at all. If there was, hey, you can make 50, if the whole workout thing was $100 and you can make $50 from it, then hey, yeah, sign me up. But to
Now,
me, you have to keep spending money.
my colleague Bill Keep just published an article on Seeking Alpha. And what he did was he took the data from the Direct Selling Association, like the numbers that we can get that's forward facing of
Mm-hmm.
like product sales. And it shows that there has been a decline.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're saying everybody's buying, there's about how much their growth there is, blah, 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 blah. I am wondering though, if there will be any kind of an uptick in anything with COVID. I wonder if that will change something because I know a ton of people. I mean, the FTC has gotten more complaints than like in half the year than they did all year last year.
Right, right, because people are scamming, and that's the problem, and people are desperate. But the truth is, do people really, especially a lot of people are unemployed, um, because they're unemployed, they're not gonna, and unemployment isn't coming at the right, they're taking forever. People aren't gonna be like, oh yeah, let me buy this drink that's, $4 and some cents. I don't even know how much it is now, but whatever it is.
Shakeology is $99 if you're a coach. It's like
Right.
130 or something if you are just, like a
Yeah.
regular person.
Yeah. So I don't even know what that comes out to be daily, but that's how they get people, is because if somebody does like Shakeology, they'd rather pay the $99.
But the
And
thing
then
is, it's not like they really like that powder because they have too many stinking recipes of like, oh, add this, do this, do this.
right,
'Cause,
well, that's true. You're right, because then you have to count in the money that people are spending for all the other stuff that they're putting in the shake,
yeah,
which now can make it an $8 shake. You can
yep,
double it, well, maybe not that high, but still.
yeah.
And if I'm going to spend $8 for breakfast, I'm going to be going out somewhere.
It's not gonna be on Shakeology.
Right, I'm going to go and eat out somewhere and order what I want on the few times I might go out to breakfast. So I think that what I want to tell people, if you're involved in something like this, it's great to have the workout. And there's a lot right now free. I mean, there's some turbo workouts that instructors have done that are free on YouTube. And, or you can I've donated to them. but you don't have to see it. And so you
If
don't
you have
even
Amazon Prime, you can look up
exactly.
exercises there too.
Right,
There's a
right.
lot of YouTube channels that are dedicated to, whether
Hmm.
it's yoga or there's all kinds of stuff.
I know. And I got hurt I fell back in January. I think I had maybe said that. That's why my knee is crazy. And I was doing from YouTube a kind of a high impact but upper body with what's it called? With on the chair where I didn't have to stand. And with my Fitbit, I had burned a lot of calories, because when you hear chair workouts, you think of like a nursing home with people just like,
Yeah.
yeah, doing that. But no, they have a lot of good stuff, and Amazon Prime. So uh, I feel for people, but you're not you person, not you, but the
Oh,
other
I
people that are
know.
doing this. It's not you, and it's set up for you to fail.
Yeah, you won't be successful. And my heart goes out to each person who says yes to any company. I'm just like, oh, come here, baby doll. Let me take care of you. Please don't do that. Please
Exactly,
don't.
right?
But I also know that they are then in that mindset of believing in the fantasy.
Hmm.
And I understand that, I really do. But what's so interesting, because because we get called haters,
Hmm.
we are just, you're just jealous.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah, how'd you guess? you know
Yeah, I'm not jealous because, and you're not jealous, and none of us are. But that's how people justify.
yeah.
That's how they deal with, oh, it's got to be you, and it's not me, it's you. It's just kind of a personality trait that a lot of people have,
Well,
regardless.
you're taught that, and so then you get that into your head, and that's a way to deflect, and also a way to shut down your critical thinking, because you're not going to look at what somebody is saying, because it can't be true.
Right, right,
It can't
because
possibly
you're
be true.
reacting. Hmm. Hmm.
And
If I thought, like, honestly, if I thought that there was any way for 99% of those people to make money, I'd be all for it. But what is it?
yeah,
1% makes something, and everyone else, because somebody can say, oh, look, I made $100 this week, but how much do they put out in order to make
yeah,
$100? It's like
yeah,
people who gamble and say, oh, look, I won, the slots, $100, but they've lost $10,000 the other day.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I have really just support to give anyone that was in any of these situations. And I didn't lose a lot of money with this. I did with Mary Kay, but not with coaching, because I didn't really stay in it that long on the few times I was in it. And then I did have, because of my story, I had people under me, or the downline, or whatever you call it. So I was getting some residual money, but then I felt guilty. I don't know if that's the social worker in me.
Probably so, and me, the teacher in me, it was like I was wanting to like fix everything in a way that I was like, okay, this would make sense. This is a sequence of stuff. And I've often thought, and I think I put it, I think, on my community tab sometime, because you know I can think of a way, like, if they really wanted people to be successful in this and teach them, I could design something. I know exactly what I'd put together that would make sense, that would show progression, that would help people and build skills. It's like, but they would never do it because it's not about that.
No, they're not. That's the thing. Like, I think people want to get rich quick and think that this is, or MLMs are the way to do it, because they parade not just Beachbody, but they all parade around the people that make, all this. Oh, look at, Miss So and So and blah blah blah.
Well, like
And
with
usually,
me, I don't think I mean, I wasn't looking to get rich quick. I thought there would be like this, over time, but you would at least start seeing something on a regular
well,
basis.
that's true too. I mean, it isn't really. You're right about that, and that's what I thought too. I was so excited because in the beginning of coaching, because I thought, wow, I can make all this money, and it just wasn't. I felt like the decks were stacked against people, and I
Yeah.
did not want to pull in strangers. And and I could talk to strangers. I could talk to anybody, but I I can't imagine going into a supermarket or a card store and say, hi, my name is Meredith. And, have this conversation where it looks like I really care.
Right,
And then,
right.
by the way, and people could get, especially with fitness stuff, people could be like, what the heck?
Have you heard about blah, blah, blah? Ick. I mean, that's just like a used car salesman, It's like, oh.
And that's not me. And also, hey, hun. I mean, I don't call anyone hun. Hey, hun, this is really random. And I've had people say that this is random, but I think this is and it's not random.
You'd be perfect for this. No, you're calculated. You're going down your friends list and you're desperate and you're going, oh, please, somebody say yes, please.
I know. And at one point I was messaging people that I hadn't talked to in a while. And then I thought, that's really kind of like,
It's invasive, and it's just
cared.
It's just janky.
Right? If I really cared, I would have talked to them before that.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I don't get hit up too much with MLMs, which is good. It's rare, actually, that I do, but I do get a lot of those invitations to the Facebook parties, and for people I haven't even seen in years or talked to in years.
Yeah.
And then I say something to them. I don't just let it go. I tell them I don't like MLMs, and look at their what is that thing called?
Income disclosure statement.
Income disclosure. Yeah.
If they have it published, which most companies don't.
Oh, they don't? Okay.
No, they're not required to.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I can go up and say, oh yeah, we got millions of people making millions of dollars, and there's no way to disprove.
You can't validate it.
Yeah. And that's shady. This is all shady stuff. And like, I'd rather be living in, God knows where, and I'll never be a millionaire being a social worker, but that's okay.
Not everybody needs to be a millionaire. Who said that you have to all grow up and be a millionaire? I mean, I love my husband. He's fantastic. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment. I love the area of town I'm in. What's wrong with that? What, I'm a loser? I'm a loser?
No. And that's the thing. Like, I don't live in a big place. And I don't care, because all that I care about is being happy.
Yeah.
I'm not really into I'm, like nice stuff, but I'm not really the person who's going to chase after having to be extremely wealthy. And because I've known people that are extremely wealthy, and that doesn't even, where they've been miserable. And
I don't want to flex everything. I don't care about that. And in terms of like traveling, because of my husband's job, I don't know if you know what my husband does or not. He's a wine sommelier, and based on where he works, he has an invitation to like basically any vineyard around the world. And at some point I will go with him, when especially it's not right now because he's not going anywhere. But I mean, that would be fun. And that was one of the reasons I was drawn to Beachbody. I'm like, oh, I can just pick this up and go anywhere.
Right, exactly. You could live anywhere. You could do anything. I mean, it sounds so inviting.
Yeah,
it really does, because especially when they try to hit up the single moms, and they try to hit up the military moms, and oh, you can make friends and you could do this. Now, the people that I knew from years ago, they didn't drop me because I'm not a coach. But I've heard so many stories about people being dropped and ignored, and you're not my friend. Like, how do you drop people?
Yeah.
Who cares if they're not working with you anymore? It's like if I own a McDonald's and my best friend works there and decides not to work there anymore. Who cares?
Right. Right. I know it's so uncomfortable, because it's not the sisterhood or the community that you think, and they often sell the community. And, let's face it, once you get out of college or something, if you did go to college, you know what, you don't have that community. And so people do feel that unless somebody like goes to church or goes to, there are places where there is community, but oftentimes it's like, I don't really have that, and so it feels good. You want to be with other people, like-minded people. Oh, that rubs me the wrong way so much. Like-minded, surround yourself with like-minded people, so you don't think about anything else.
Yes, and getting the attention that you get at first, like you're love bombed, and then all of a sudden,
if you're not performing, that love bombing goes away.
I know.
They pay no attention to you.
because I knew the people beforehand. They didn't love bomb me to get me in or whatever. None of them, the 3 different times I did it. But I know that happens way too much. And
Yeah.
especially if you don't know the person. I mean, if somebody comes up to me and I'm wearing like a Beachbody shirt, or say if they're wearing one and I go up to them, oh, tell me all about you. Do you care? Really?
Yeah. No, don't.
You don't care. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
okay.
all. Have you heard of Operation Income Illusion?
No.
The FTC has partnered with a bunch of other law enforcement agencies because there's a big crackdown on all these scams because so many there's the other day when I did a live, I showed some of the documents in it, but the amount of scams that have been reported, and that's one thing I am telling people is report, because we need more and more going in, because unless people tell their stories, they're not, because what we really need to do is flood them with the complaints. The only way they're going to take any action, because it's all wrapped up within politics and everything else. And there's a revolving door from the DSA, the FTC. I mean, there's all that, but they can't ignore it when they're flooded with complaints. You know, they got to do something.
Yes. Did you hear about TikTok? They're
Oh,
no
yeah.
longer allowing people. Yeah. And I know some countries, have banned it. I think because they technically do sell a product, but they should look at it. Are people making money from the product they're selling other than to the people that are in their downline? Because they're just making money through their downline. And that just is ridiculous, because your downline are your customers. Because no one's going to pay full price for what's, I mean, maybe people will, but for Shakeology, people are going to think, oh, I can make more money. You know, it's better to be a coach.
Yeah, but even then, there's other products you can get that are so much less. But the product has to be jacked up because there has to be money to go everywhere, you know?
Yeah, too many people have to make money. And to call, you know, this, some of them were saying that people could get healed from drinking that. Oh, you know, you're diabetic, you know, drink this and drink that and da da da. I'm like, no, it's not going to cure diabetes.
They said that when Samoa had an outbreak of measles, the Kangen water, there was somebody there spraying people with the Kangen water, saying it would cure them. And there's also been talk about the Kangen water like helping your immune system. And I know the guy who has this on his channel, and I will do it at some. I just haven't, because I just have too many other things to do.
Yeah, sure you do.
But all of them, I mean, they all make very, very grand claims. And when you start examining it, especially the health and wellness MLMs, I did a video a long time ago where I looked at different websites, maybe 20, 30 different websites, and you start seeing the repetition of the same language of what they're saying.
Yes.
It's just different pictures. And it's like, okay, so we're all saving the world. Well, then how come the world isn't saved? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and I know this is a big thing, which I would have never gotten involved with for the
what is
it's the same people that will say you could be cured by the essential oils.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that should be criminal. Honestly, that is criminal to me, because you could kill somebody that way.
Yep.
Where, you know, oh, I don't need to take my insulin anymore. I'll just, you know, put something on my nose.
I'll just drink me this, because I have some right here, but it's not it. What is it? Mental focus. I'll just douse that on me, and that's gonna fix me.
I like the smells, but nothing changed. It's, you know, I have a diffuser.
Me too.
They're telling people to eat it or drink it, and that's dangerous, right? Like,
it's frightening. You know, it really, really is frightening. But I mean, since the beginning of time, there's been people shilling, you know, snake oil. So
magic potion, snake oil. Yep. Yeah, that, I think that's a good word to use, because I think I felt that the claims that were made with Shakeology were definitely, it felt like snake oil-ism, if that's the word. Where I couldn't say to somebody, oh, take this, it's got all the superfoods, and you know, you're going to feel so much better. And if people feel better, then that's good. It might just be that they think they're going to feel better, so they feel better. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or because they're working out now and eating healthier, they feel better. It may not just be from, and
Yeah.
probably is not from a drink, because if
Right.
it was, Shakeology has been around for a really long time now. It's not like they're on the news saying, oh, Miss Jones here, she
It's a
has
miracle.
no heart disease, and now this one has, they don't have this or that. And that's the problem, because people want to believe those things. If
Well,
I could
yeah.
prove something that I went into diabetic, what's it called? I went into remission, and then in 2014, and I had gained about half the way back. I'm down again, but I had gained about half of it back, which was not bad considering most people gain everything plus. And I just remember, the diabetes coming back, and now I'm older. And no matter how much weight I lose, I'm going to have it. And it's not going to matter what I drink, because I work out a lot and I eat pretty healthy. So to tell people something that isn't going to happen, or to say that all of a sudden you're going to have these new friends, is just such a load
Well,
of garbage.
when it comes to health and wellness stuff, I mean, you have no qualifications other than you're listening to what your upline has said, and you're listening to whatever the the company is saying, and the content that you get from there, and you're reading about the product, you're parroting that back. But do you really have any qualifications? No. It's a big old zero, big old goose
No,
egg.
no. And that's the thing. I mean, they have their meal. They say, oh, well, look at this meal plan, look at that. But I don't feel qualified to tell people what to eat. In fact, when I had lost 125 pounds, it was about 125. When I lost that much, I ended up, people would say, oh, can you post what you're eating today? And I never did it, because like, find your own niche, find what works for you. Not just because I'm doing it does not mean that
Right.
what I do is going to work for you. And I didn't say it meanly, like, it was sweet and very nice that people actually asked that, but I can't tell you what to do, because I don't know what's going on in your body.
But you
I don't
see
know what you're
so many of
supposed to
them
do.
doing that, posting their little meals. So it's like, this is what I had today.
Nobody cares. I mean, especially if the person has never dealt with food addiction, and a lot of them haven't.
Yeah.
And I have that. That's a real thing for me. And to just say to somebody, oh, it's easy, or, oh, just don't eat it. And there's so much psychological stuff that goes on with food and healthy eating and all that stuff.
All of it.
And they don't even, it's just all workout and food, workout and,
Yeah.
Shakeology. Come
It's
on.
easy.
Yes. And so when people can't keep to the program or whatever, or keep to those little plastic things, then they feel like a failure, and they're not. And the whole diet industry
I
makes
really
people
feel
feel
that people are psychologically damaged from whether they were just a customer or within MLM. I really think there's damage there, and people are walking around damaged from the experience, unaware that they're damaged from it. And I really think it creates a disorder. I don't know what that is, because I'm not trained in any of that, but I really feel like it does, because I see some of the same behaviors by everybody, and we all echo some of the same things. It's like, this is fundamentally impacting us as human beings.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially, and it's abandonment too, because if it brings up, it's to say, if you leave, and I never felt that way, because I don't think this the way, but I know how a lot of people think that, oh, I couldn't do this, what's wrong with me? And then not only that, but then the weight stuff, I put weight on, and if I would have stuck with Shakeology and talked to more friends and talked to
I'm
this
weak.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a good person. And it's not about that. It's sometimes things fail you and you don't fail them.
That is beautifully stated. Beautifully stated. And, if anybody is watching this and you're involved in Shakeology and Beachbody and think, well, we're just full of hooey. I just, I encourage you to take a step back and consider things that we're saying and what other people are saying, because it's really not out of hate that we say any of this towards
No, no.
anyone who's a part of it.
No.
It's really more from concern.
It's not from hate. And I, back when it was just Beachbody and they had their $1 million game and, and I won the money and, it was on a smaller scale. I thought it was the absolute best company I'd ever been around. I have, like I said, I knew Carl and I knew Shalene and some of her people. And I met Sean T, although he wouldn't remember me, of course, but I met him. And I met some other coaches along the way. And there's some of them are still doing it. And I don't know how they're doing, but I just don't have it. It's not my personality, but I'm not a failure. And neither are you or anybody listening to this. You've been failed.
And it's okay if you have a regular job, that
Oh,
is perfectly okay.
With the job you have, you get benefits, you get paid time off. You, God forbid you get hurt or something. I mean, I had this job, I had a hysterectomy about 13 years ago, and I got paid for the whole time I was out because I had enough sick days, and I didn't have to worry about hustling. I could just relax.
Okay.
And
could you imagine? Oh no, wait, I got to do my Instagram post. Oh, you're operating on me. Just a second, doctor. I mean, it's like, oh my God. Oh my
God. Back in 10 minutes.
That's not relaxing. That's not inspiring to see that. But they think that it is. They've been conditioned to believing it is and to perpetuating that narrative to everyone else.
Yes. And people, the other thing is, people will say, oh, it's just a few hours a day. It's not.
No, it's not.
People, I don't know if anyone had brought this up before, but what happens? People are working till midnight. They ignore their children because mommy's got to do her work. Mommy's got to do this, and then they're working more than like an 8-hour job, and then they don't even have a guaranteed income.
Yeah. They would say it's a sacrifice for now.
Yeah.
For your future. You're sacrificing for your future. They come up with just BS. Big stacks of bologna sandwiches all over the place,
Yes, yes. And it's sad. And I do, like I said, I feel a little guilty being on here. But I want to prevent other people from getting into something where they only have a 1% chance of actually dealing with or being top coach or one of the top, diamond people. Yeah. And most of those people are very fit and young. And not that I resent that, because it's fine. I was young once too.
So was I.
Not that I'm old either, but and neither are you. However, I would love to see the people on the stage at Summit, because I see them and they're all like fit and like,
well,
the
first coach I was under, and before she left to direct sellers, she never worked out. She was having procedures done all the time.
Wow. And that's true too.
Yep. I mean, that's true of the Coach Network. They are doing snip tuck.
Oh, look what this workout did for me. Yeah, we'll also take out, quite a few $1,000s or whatever. And because I could use some good work if someone wants to give it to me. I've got stuff going on. But I don't want to be phony or fake.
And that's really what it is, and I that's the thing, as I, do these reactions and I listen, not only can I combat what they're saying, is that I'm going, my gosh, you're wearing a mask. It's like, and that must be exhausting and so heavy to keep putting that on and portraying that every day. Even if you can take a moment, every now and then, it's like, okay, I'm not on. I'm okay.
Yes,
I mean, it's got to wear on you. That's got to age you too.
Yeah. And you can't, like the ones that are kind of, I've seen some of those Zoom calls where they're actually mean to their downline.
Yeah.
And the downline people look defeated instead of leaving and saying, go pound sand. Like I said before, they sit, look, and they just look like, it's like, who wants to be talked down to at a job?
I
or
have
that they're
said
going to make
before
money.
that multi-level marketing is an abusive relationship. It's like being in an abusive, you are being abused. You are being
Mhm.
abused. You know, you're allowing, well, and I don't want to say you're allowing, but you are and you aren't because you're believing in the dream. It's just like,
Mhm.
I have been with less than stellar, people in my life that were abusive towards me. And it's the same thing. And
Mhm.
so that's why, like, they're just like, kind of like, they're taking it. They feel like that's what they're supposed to do. And, and I thought
Yes.
about this, if people have been or are in abusive relationships and they get involved with this, well, they're used to it. So they're going to take it because that.
Yes. Yes. And that's what's sad is that when I watched one of the Zooms that, or one of the YouTube videos where somebody was showing a Zoom, I wanted to just reach out. It wasn't live, of course, but I, as a human being and also somebody who was, a caring person and whatnot and social worker, I wanted to be able to call all those people that were on the Zoom that looked like they were just, and then they're probably thinking, oh, well, that's what I have to do because she knows
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, she's just trying to make a buck off of your back. So
Yeah.
she doesn't care. If you decide to leave today, she's not going to care about you. Um, and especially now, like as I said, it was different when I was doing it. At first, as far as the people that I signed up with were already people that were my friends, so
Yeah.
nobody treated me like bad. But I've seen it because they're so desperate for people not to leave and to maintain being their star diamond or whatever they are,
Mhm.
that they lost themselves in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the other thing is, not everybody can be, I mean, when it comes to MLMs, there's only so many people in the world. So
Exactly.
what can you do?
Not everybody can win.
No, no. I mean, it's stacked against you. It's
Yeah.
kind of like going to a casino and blaming yourself when you lose a blackjack or the slots.
Well, I'm hoping because more people are speaking out now than ever
Mhm.
before. And it's like, and I've said this multiple times, is that social media has allowed these things to proliferate and explode because they used to be, they were around, but always kind of like, in the shadows, so to speak. It's just,
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
they were around. I remember Avon as a kid and just other things,
yeah.
but now it's like on social media. And it's like they will go to any platform they can find. Oh, this isn't really what we're, they will find a way. They will
Mhm.
keep finding a way. And that goes back to us being loud, us becoming informed. And now that people are speaking out, then people who aren't informed, they might go like, huh. Just like the docuseries Murder on Middle Beach about the women's gifting table. And I've been doing, a series on that.
Mm.
Those sort of things, those are still around, but in a different name. It's like it's called
Right.
something else. It's like, but people need to be more aware of scams,
Hmm.
especially during a pandemic,
I know, I know. And this is funny because this is going back to the 80s when I was working at a card store and I was 17 and it was right after high school, waiting to go to college. And somebody, they had a button on saying, you can get free makeup. And I was like, and I didn't know anything about any of that stuff. And I was like, well, can I do it? She came to my house to do a makeover on me and try to recruit me. I wasn't even 18 at the time.
Yeah, and they
It's
still do
crazy.
that. I was just reading one because I know Cutco really goes after, like college kids.
Mhm.
There was another one and it's down now and it was something else. And I'm like, oh, I might need to do a deep dive into that if I can find it again. It's like,
Mhm.
because people are working for nothing, basically, for
Yes.
pennies,
Right. Right.
less than minimum wage.
Yes. Yes. And with a dream, that's like saying I'm going to win in a casino if I go there and gamble. I
And
could
you have
win.
a better
But,
chance.
right.
You
You
have a
do
better chance.
actually. You do. You do. But that's like saying I'll buy a lottery ticket. And because I bought it, I'm going to win. And if I
Right.
don't win, it's my fault. I didn't buy the right one.
I just didn't
And
go to the right store,
yeah, right. It's like, and it can really mess people's psyches up. And especially now, people don't have money to lose.
Yeah.
I certainly don't. If someone says to me, oh, it's only this amount of money or only that, it's only, and what they do is they bring you in very cheap. Oh, it's
Yeah.
only $100 and you'll have your own business. And it's not your business.
No, it's not. You don't get to control any of it.
Control nothing except for
Yeah.
like bringing people in, but that's really difficult. And the people that and the people, they try to find people that are lonely,
Oh, absolutely.
that don't have a lot of
Vulnerable.
people, vulnerable, and a lot
Vulnerable.
of people are vulnerable now. So yeah, I mean, if I didn't know, and I need money, and someone says, oh, just, we have this hole here, just
We have
find
a
two people.
system.
Yeah, find two people. Oh, and then they end up paying the monthly fee for their mom and
Uh-huh.
their brother and their brother's their brother's
Yeah.
kids, and so then that's how people lose money, because they want to be a diamond so badly that they're willing to pay for their people's stuff in order to keep them active. But then you're losing money. It's just,
But you have the status.
yeah,
But who cares about it?
yes, exactly. And that's just not me. I mean, like I said, I love to work out. My favorite is Turbo. I even had a cat named Turbo that I found
Two.
around the time. He's not with us anymore, but yeah,
Neither is mine.
I had a cat named Turbo, and I love the workout. I mean, it's just so much fun for me. Um, but I kind of was checked out when people started coming on my Facebook and trying to add my friends, and yeah. And then also with the Shakeology, which, how do you sell something that you feel like people really don't even need? It's not a necessity.
Yeah, but they try to make you say that the whole thing isn't. And like, again, when I do the video that is, I've done it. I just need to edit it. I mean, there's a reason that auto ship is used, and
Mm-hmm.
Carl learned it from somewhere, which I will be talking about. It's like it's a thing, and it's like that's what keeps it going, keeps the
Yeah.
machine going. You go, well, you need this. It's like, no, you don't. You
Yeah.
don't know it.
And like we talked before, I don't know anybody who can say that by drinking this, anything has really been cured by that.
Right.
Maybe because of their eating habits. If you work out, yeah, but the whole business is based around Shakeology. Everything else is not even an issue.
And when you go to Summit, there's somewhere for you to sign that you are committing to drinking Shakeology 365.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
No way. See, I never went to Summit because I just didn't want to be around those people.
See, I was all by myself because I had no one, and it was really flipping lonely.
Nobody. What about your?
Oh, he wasn't going with me to all of that stuff. I mean, he was on,
No. I meant your upline or people that were on your.
Well,
whatever
at that time, my upline had gone to direct sellers, and I was moved up somebody else who was a big deal. And it's like, they didn't give a flip about me. No one cared about me.
See, that's what I thought when I first went to the first camp, the first Turbo Kick camp. I thought it was going to be like that. And I remember that day that I was looking at my luggage, and I'm like, you know what, I'll just pay the girl, because I was sharing a room with someone I didn't know at the time. And then we became friends, of course. But I remember looking at my luggage like, everyone's going to treat me like garbage. But then I thought, well, I bought the ticket, and if people are mean to me, I could always sit by the pool. But it was the opposite of that. And at that point, that was before coaching, and that was before just people that were real and really wanted to help you. Shalene gave her phone number out, her cell phone.
Wow.
She gave out.
She seems like she's really changed too, because she's now a social media coach for network marketing. She gives all kinds of things like that. And it seems like
she knows better. She's
what?
A smart woman. She's a very smart woman, and she knows better.
She does, but you know what? She sees where people are, and that people will pay for that. And so she is riding that. And
yes.
As much as I enjoyed her, it's like, I've lost respect for her and her family because other people get involved in it. And it's like, you're perpetuating this thing that's destroying people, destroying lives.
Yes. And that was the thing. Like, we honestly, we talked on the phone. and I'm not bragging about it. I'm just
Oh,
saying,
I know, I get that.
I felt like, she was so laid back and sweet. And she would say, "Oh, I'm, Midwestern girl, blah blah blah," but I don't even recognize her anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what, and I've listened to her podcasts because some of them were helpful, but then I had to stop listening once because she was talking about what people had to give up or what was hard for them during the pandemic. And one of the things that she said, and then I was like, what the heck is this? Was that it was so hard, and she was serious, how hard it was to have all the cars, because they moved to the beach, to have all the cars being able to park, places to park
That's hard.
at their beach house or their house that's at the beach with their cars.
That's out of touch.
And that's when I'm like, this is just not the same person. And it's terrible. It breaks my heart to even say it. And here I am saying, and people are going to hear it and whatnot, because like when I had my hysterectomy, she called me. When my dad died, she called me. We weren't friends, but she was like a mentor to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And so at the first camp, she's sitting with everybody and blah, blah, blah. By the last camp I went to, which was 2010, you had to pay to meet her. You had to freaking pay.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're already a multimillionaire, and people here are buying your stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I
it's
think that's evidence that MLM transforms people fundamentally,
Yes. And I'm not going to say she's a bad person, but she has changed a lot.
I think she's out of touch with her true self.
She is, because she was such a sweet person. People may think she's now, but and I can't listen to any. And the podcasts some of them were really helpful because she's also emotionally intelligent, extremely.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and that's what draws people. That's what draws people to her.
Absolutely.
And I also her book. I don't know if I told you, she has that push book.
Yeah. I know all about
it. My story is in that book.
Wow.
And my story of my weight loss was in my book, or in her book, on the push book. And then she also used my story for some other stuff, which was fine. Of my weight loss and everything. And that was fine. But then this whole, people, like right now, people can't get unemployment. They can't get food. And then they listen to that. Oh, my beach house. We there's too many cars for us to park where we want to park, and blah, blah, blah. And this is how the pandemic has affected me.
That's not the same. Not the same.
No.
I mean, my husband, with what he does is, the restaurant right now, they're not as busy as they are typically because of all social distancing and everything. But we're both like, we don't know what's going to happen come, January. It's like it is from one month to another. It's like we have no idea.
Well, I lost my job. I'll tell you this. I'm waiting I live in New Jersey, but I'm 10 miles from Philly. And I worked in Philly. I'm waiting. I lost my job November 2nd. I have not received a dime on unemployment. I didn't get a severance. It wasn't due to me. It wasn't like I stole anything. And I've called I called a politician. I have no money coming in right now. My car's late. My apartment rent is a little late.
And that's reality for millions of Americans. And well, I'd say people across the world. That is reality for everyone.
Yes, I have people who might be able to help me. But I have, it's horrible. I might be applying for food stamps, and I don't want to I don't want to have to do that. But, and I might start, I'm doing right now, I am doing something working, but I won't see the money, and it's not full time in probably about a month.
Okay. Yeah.
So when I hear people talk about, or when I heard Shalene say that, it really broke my heart, because who is she? Who is this woman who sat with us, gave her, and I mean, she became so big, she has, and at one time I think she was hacked, and she went through all this stuff not too long ago. So I realized, it's a different world, and it's a lot more people that really like her and can act crazy. But I used to also talk sometimes to Janelle, and I could send you pictures if you want to.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
No. I'm saying if you want to add it to this thing. So
yeah, I would love to. I think that would be great because that tells the story,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and this, I think of it because when that woman told my husband that if she sticks with it, it's 5 years, that's what I think happens is that you have become the multi-level marketing personality.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what it is. It's all encompassing you, and you're in there somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but you are now altered and you are walking around being this person based on all of this stuff and how you've been changed from the indoctrination and thought
Right.
reform and all of these things that you've gone through. And all of that happens so subtly in
Yes.
age. You
You
have
don't even
no
realize.
idea it's going on.
Yeah, you don't realize it.
Uh-uh.
And that's the other thing too. And then how do you know if someone who does it is being nice to you because they like you, or they're being nice to you because you're a dollar sign in their head?
Well, and now on the other side, I mean, I am just like,
How long were you a coach? I'm sorry. I'm
what?
sure I don't remember, and I'm sure you said it in other videos, but how long were you actually a coach?
Oh, well, for like about 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
You
So
know,
you did
I
it for 5 years, and
I
that's
wasn't always, pushing it, but I kept it in my back pocket thinking, you know what? I can offer this to someone sometime.
Mhm.
And it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
that's why when I left, I just no, there was no fanfare. Nobody was like unfriended me. There was no trash talking. That didn't happen because I just kind of like, you know, I
Kind of
wasn't
separated.
around, I wasn't
Mhm.
interacting with people and I wasn't doing
Yes.
things.
Yes. And I do, and it's a shame because there's many, I'm talking about the people that were, being greedy and messaging my friends, but there's people that really want to make a living out of this.
Yeah,
And,
I did.
yeah, I mean, I did too. I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I could, do this full
Yeah.
time and make a little extra money if I need to as a social worker doing something per diem or
Yeah.
doing something part time. But people can call me a hater all they want. I don't care. And it's not that I hate, I just think, because I don't hate any of these people. I just think that it can hurt people.
Right. It's the structure of everything and, and how it hurts people. I harbor no ill will for anyone. I get angry when I see some of the top people and what they do. And it's like, and like with the OneCoin people, I'll go back to that. It's like, and I know how many people they've harmed and they're thinking like, oh, there's this one guy, Iger E. Alberts, when everything crumbled, he said that he was victimized. He was making millions of dollars. It's like, how are you the victim, dude? You're not
Yeah, it's
you
outrageous.
victimized.
It's so outrageous. Oh my gosh.
And he's now with Success Factory, Dad Coin, and so is his wife, and then her brother. I mean, it's like there's like this machine of people. And when you really start, what I find interesting is when I start looking at the ones that are not in the US and start connecting dots between people and where they go and what they came from, it's really
Hmm.
it's so much darker than what we're dealing with, like
Wow.
in the US. It's so dark and it's so dirty. And
Hmm.
it's to me, it's so frightening of how deep and insidious it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's going into poor countries.
I know. I know. Well, I talked to, because I liked some Mary Kay stuff, and I talked to the person is trying to be successful, and she's a really awesome person. And they have it in China where they test on animals, and people don't want to buy
Right,
makeup
right.
that test on animals. People are or have parabens in them or whatever, all the stuff that is in their stuff, and still charges the same as if you were to get vegan stuff. So um, what she told me is that people in China, they don't want to take the opportunity away from them. So at least they're in there and can monitor it. And I'm like, but it's still killing these animals, and it's still, you don't need to put like sunscreen in an animal's eye to realize that it shouldn't go into eyes.
Yeah. We don't need to do that. We've evolved, okay?
Yeah, but they won't pull out of China. I know a couple countries pulled out of having them there, but they won't pull out because they are making money from China. They
Yeah.
don't care. Not
Yeah.
that my friend doesn't care. I'm sure she
No,
cares.
no. I get that. But yeah, I mean, it's again, it's just dark and nasty and evil and just scummy. That's well, I don't want to keep you because I could sit here and
That's
there's so
okay.
many
Well,
things I
yeah,
can
we can
chat
chat on
about.
Friday. I'm really enjoying this,
Me
and
too.
we can talk. Well, we can talk another time. Not necessarily wherever, of course. But I really enjoy your channel,
Oh, thank you
and
so much.
I really love watching the anti-MLMs because it helps me realize, even though I was a product of the product at one time, that I made the right decision to walk away from it.
Yeah. Well, I'm
So,
really glad you got out and I really appreciate you sharing your story because, it's just more confirmation that this idea of a business sucks. It's like, I'll just be real professional. It sucks.
yeah, I don't care if you say sucks. I'll say it too. And if you're in it and you're not, and people are telling you that you're not working hard enough, and it's not working for you, and you're especially spending more money that you're, with this dream, it's great to have a dream, but this is probably not it. So
Yeah.
I wish you the best.
And those of you who are in it, if you get out, we welcome you with open arms. And we are here. I mean, like us people who have gotten out, there's plenty of people that understand what it's like to have been through it, understand the shame that's associated with it, the feeling of loss, the feeling of like, I don't know who I am. We got that. This is why we need people in the mental health profession who understand multi-level marketing to be there for people, because that's the support we don't have. And I really believe we need it.
Yeah, and you know what? When you said loss, and I've worked with hospices before, and of course those people go through loss too. And what I have to say about that is it's okay to grieve it.
Yeah.
Or to grieve what you think that it was to you, and you're okay. It's a normal response. People that might drop you, you have that loss, you have the loss of the dream of being a 16-star diamond coach and making millions of dollars and supporting your family. But if you look at the statistics, unfortunately, just isn't good.
Yeah.
And you deserve better.
Well, Meredith, thank you so much for being here. And I hope everyone enjoyed our little conversation. And I'll see you in my next video. Remember, you're beautiful and I love you.